So good morning, my name is Arslan and you are watching Proper Tech Tutorial. So welcome back to the series of learning Siemens NX from beginner to pro. And today we'll be starting the part 18 of learning Siemens NX. I'll just show you the syllabus for your reference. Part 18 will include the dimensional constraints in its totality, along with discussing the dimensional constraints and options in typed dimensioning tools, etc., and how to solve over constraint problems and how to prevent getting over constraint sketches, okay, and how to convert to reference. So without any further delay, let us start. So we'll just create a new file and we'll name it part 18 training. Okay, model, the template is model, and we'll click on OK. So now first we'll get into the sketch environment. We'll select the sketch, we'll click on OK. Okay, now coming to the dimensional constraints. So first of all, what are dimensional constraints? Similar to geometric constraints that restricts the sketch, that restricts the curves as per the geometric relations like tangent, collinear, perpendicular, parallel, coinciding, midpoint, symmetric, etc. Dimensional constraints restrict the curves and the sketch based on your dimensional values. For example, a rectangle, I want a rectangle with the length and breadth of 200 and 100. I want a square with the side of 50 mm. I want a circle with the radius of 150 mm. I want a triangle in which the circle inscribed an equilateral triangle in which the circle is of 50 mm radius. Or I want the circle to be circumscribed on the triangle, like outside the triangle with the radius of 200 mm. So things like that are useful by using the dimensional constraint options. So how do we use the options of rapid dimensioning tool and sketch how to make it fully constrained? So first of all, I will make certain squares and I will make certain circles. I will make a profile. Okay, and now we'll try to do some operations on them and then we'll make it fully defined. So first of all, you have to know that in the utilities section, if you want to have some like dimensions or like things like that, you can click on continuous auto dimensioning in design or in drafting, or you can uncheck that. Similarly, if you want like things to be create input constraints, or if you want the the where was that, yeah, in the modeling, you can see that if you want to have the let me just get to that. I think it is in front of me, but I'm unable to see that. I don't know what is happening. Yes, it is in this section that display auto dimensions. You can check that or uncheck that, or create dimensions for typed values. That this also you can check or uncheck that, and also you can display persistent relations. It is preferred if you display that, and also you can create the option of display origin method. So these are things which you can either like check that or uncheck that. So that is as per your preference. Okay. So now coming to the sketch and making some things, like I will make a linear pattern. So first of all, what I need to do is that a rectangle has been made. So I just need to specify it. So how can I specify it? One option is just by clicking on the side of the rectangle, and you see that a green or yellow thing will pop up and it will be showing the current dimension. So this is 95. I want it to be 50, for example. I will click on enter, and you will get a pop-up dialog box if like you are changing the value too much. You are editing the first dimension in this case. You want to scale the entire sketch. So you will click on yes, and you will see that all the sketch has been scaled as per your dimension. Okay, and if you do not want to scale that, what you will get is that if I make it 95, if I make it like 50, and I click on no, then you will see that all the other sketches have not been scaled as per your dimension. So scaling all the sketch is preferred because, for example, I created it in a much zoomed out fashion. I created a rectangle. Let us show you a much more better example. Okay, I created a rectangle over here, and I created a circle over here, and you will see. So if I delete these things, and if I try to give dimension to this, okay, this is 500, I will make it 10. So if I do not scale that, then it will become very obscure, invisible, like when visible. So, and if I scale that, you will see that result is totally different. If I make it 10, you will see after scaling that all the things have been scaled as per this dimension. So scaling the sketch is much better of an option, as you see that it allows everything to be in proportion. Now coming to our topic. So first of all, I will try to give it a dimensional constraint. So first thing is that I can just click on the edge, I can double click on the dimension, I can just put a 50, and I can just click on yes, and you will see that a dimensional constraint has been applied. Another method of doing a dimensional constraint is by clicking on the rapid dimensioning tool and clicking on the first object and then clicking on the second object, and you will see that you can just give dimension to another edge. Another way of giving dimension is that by clicking on the linear dimension tool, and just by clicking on the like this line and this line, and you will see that the dimension pops up. Okay, and by double clicking on that, you can just edit that. Okay, after exiting the dialog box. Okay, another method of doing that, of giving dimension, is that like I want to give the dimension between this 2 points. For example, I select this point and I select this point. You will see that I am able to give the dimension for the diagonal. I am able to give the dimension for this edge in the y-axis. I am able to give the dimension in the x-axis. So depending upon your cursor location, it will automatically choose which dimension you are trying to give it to your sketch. Another method of giving dimension is that I just select these two lines, and you see that the angle pops up. You see that the angle pops up, and just by clicking on the angular dimension, you can edit it or not. Okay, since it is a rectangle, 90° was by default, but I can change that also. Okay, so now like if I want to give like dimension between these 2 points, you will see that after selecting these 2 points without selecting any dimensional tool like rapid dimensioning or linear dimensioning or anything like that, you will have the option of dimensioning it. You will have in y-axis, x-axis, and the diagonal. Similarly, if I try to if I try to give the dimension for this circle, by just clicking on this perimeter, you will see that the diameter pops up. Also, you can do something like you can click on this circle, you can click on this edge, and you will see that you are able to get the parallel distance between between the the arc and the edge of the rectangle. Another method is that, like, if you want to keep this dimension, you will just click on the dimension and you will have the option of editing it. You can put any value. After that, you can click enter and you will see the dimension has been changed, and just click anywhere outside the in the blank area. So now we will dimension this profile that was created. We'll click on it, we'll give it to be 50, and then we will take this also 50, and then we will give the angle between that to be, like, let us say it should be 127, and then we will make this circle, rather than 35 we will make it 20, and then we will make this line and the x-axis, like it is 36, we will make it 30, and then this line is remaining, so we will use a dimensional constraint, geometry constraint, that is make equal. I will click on this line, and make equal, and it has been made equal. So I will take this and this, make it coinciding. Now our profile is completely dimensionally constrained. The only thing remaining is the distance from the center. So I will just take this corner, I will take this corner, I will select this, and this is done. I will select this, and then again I will select this, and I will select this, and this is done. After that, what you can see is that if the topic of, like, making fully constrained and solving over constraint problem, so the best method of constraining any sketch is, like, when you are constraining, like when you are a beginner, try to select any of the edge that is not highlighted as black. Okay, the edge that is, or the arc that is highlighted as black, that means that it is perfectly constrained. If you will try to move it, if you will try to enlarge it, it will not get changed. But if you try to enlarge or move any like other curve which is not highlighted black, you will see that it is getting changed. Understand that? So for that, you just select any of the brown curves that are not currently fully defined or fully constrained, and try to move it, and you will understand what is the thing that is lacking. So for example, the length of this line is currently not defined, and the length of this line is also not defined. Okay, so what we'll do is that we'll just, okay, you see the angle of this line is not defined. So what we'll do is that we'll just select this line, and you will see that some of the options are available. We'll click on this, and we'll click on it and mention it 80. And you see that after we define the length of this line, everything gets in place and everything is black and it is fully defined. Now coming to the arc that we created. So in a circle, there is only one thing that needs to be defined, that is the radius. And the radius can be defined either by geometry or by dimensions. For example, this is 50. We can constrain it with the help of, by using this arc center and taking the origin, or we can take any other thing. For example, I want to define it like this point should be, and this point should be vertical. So it will be vertical with each other. For example, I try to create a line that is vertical. I will give it a vertical constraint, and I try to move it. So I will try to enlarge it more so that you are able to see that. If I try to move it, and you see that this starting point and this arc center, if I coincide it, you see that it is also coinciding with the point which was selected for making the arc to be vertically just above the profile. Understand that? This is also a method of creating a vertical constraint. Okay, so vertically aligned and vertical, which we saw in our previous video, is this. The differences between them is this. I will show it to you one again. Customer defaults, sketch environment, inferred constraints, this one. Vertical and vertical alignment. The difference between that is this. You can align a point to point, a line to point, or a line to line. Okay, so now the circle, I want the circle and this line to be like distance between should be 100. Now I want this and this, let us say, or this point should be it is 109.6. So I will not take that. I will select this point. I will select this, and you will see that I want this one. No, I do not want this one. I want this point and this arc, and I want this 25. I will take this 25. I will take it over here and I will make it 25. So this 25 is like necessary in order to constrain it, because if we do not constrain it, you can see that it is getting moving in one or the other direction. Okay, so even though we applied the option of vertical alignment on the profile, the point of the edge and the arc center, still this is not something that will fully define the sketch. Rather, it will help the sketch to get aligned in a particular fashion. So if I try to align it, like for example, I do not know the dimension between this point and this point. I do not know this distance. Okay, I just know by the help of the sketch that the point of this profile, this point, and the arc center is vertically aligned. So what I will do, I will vertically align it. I will take this point, I will take this arc center, and I will take this dimension, and whatever the value will come, I will click on enter and click anywhere in the blank, and it will get fully defined. So this is the use of vertical alignment, and it helps you to get a design that is as per your drafting or as per your sheet, and allows you to pick up dimensions using the alignment options or the geometrical constraints options. Now we have defined the length and breadth of this rectangle, but we have not defined the distance. So we'll define the distance like it is 26.9. We'll make it 30. And after that, what we will do is that we will take this point and we will take this arc center, and we will take this distance 60.4, and we'll make it 100. And now this is also fully defined. So you can see there are two methods of knowing whether the sketch is fully defined. First is that everything in the sketch environment, in that sketch environment, will be highlighted as black. And second method is that in the top border bar, the message will be shown, sketch is fully defined. You understand that? Second thing to be noted is that when you go into the utilities and when you go into the customer defaults, you will see that there are certain colors which are given to certain types of curves or things like that. So you can either change that or keep that depending upon your preference. So you can see that fully constrained curves will be like green, like the reference curves will be shown as, where the reference dimension will be shown as in brownish gray, something like that. So these things you can change as per your preference. Okay, so you can change that in the customer defaults. Now the thing which is to be done is that I will apply certain pattern. For example, I will make a linear pattern in the x-axis of this rectangle. No, not a circular, a linear. I will make a linear. I want the distance to be like, we can also increase it from here. The distance should be this much. And I want the count to be there to count and span. I want the count to be 5. Okay. Use direction 2. I do not want that. We'll click on apply. We'll click on this circle, I will click on circular, I will click this as the point of rotation. I will span the angle to be 180 degrees and I will click on 45 degrees. Okay, no problem. I will click on apply. After that, what you can do, you can take this linear and I will select the linear object y axis and I will click on apply. Okay, so now you see that the sketch is fully defined, and if it is not, I have shown you in my previous video that in case any pattern is not fully defined, the only thing which you have to do is that the any two consecutive patterns which have been created, you just need to give dimension between either of the two and it will get fully defined. So now if I want to suppress this feature, you will see the option of hiding it, and you see that the pattern has been created with the pitch and span whatever we wanted, but this one I do not want as it is like interfering with this sketch. I just hide it. I will show it to you again. If I want to hide this arc, I will just click on it, or if I want to hide this arc, I will click on it, and I want to hide, like, right click on it and we will have the option of hide. You can also make it convert to reference, whatever you want. Okay, now another thing, for example, if you see that this is also there, if I want to hide this one, you will see that it is available, the option is available. If I want to hide this one, the option is available. So this is the method of hiding the pattern, the intermittent pattern which we do not require. So this was the lecture covering that what are dimensional constraints, how to use rapid dimension tool, that is this one, angular dimension tool. Also we saw how to make how to make a fully constrained sketch and convert to reference. The only thing remaining is solve over constraint problem. For example, this sketch that we have created is fully defined. I will create another dimension, okay, and I will take this line and I will create it. I will take this line and this line, I will create it. I will take this line and this line and I will create it. Okay, so till now there are no such issues as of now, because okay, so persistent relation already exist. So sketch is still fully defined. But if that, for example, this is 100 and this is 125, and if I try to change it to 130, you will see that a dialog box is getting opened up, and I will just hide myself for a moment. So you see when I'm trying to change this 100 and 125, so since 100 is already defined and we have already also taken 125 as a dimension, the alert that is mentioned is there, this dimension cannot be edited. It may be over defining the sketch. If this dimension conflicts with other dimensions or persistent relations, try deleting persistent relations or dimensions. Understand that? If I try to make it 130, you will see that it is not getting edited. However, if I delete this 100 and then if I try to edit it, you will see that we are able to edit it. So whenever you will be over defining a sketch, a pop-up dialog box will be displayed, or sometimes if you are over defining the sketch and you did some pattern or mirroring and you just like did some dimensioning constraints and it was not to fully define, rather it over defined the sketch, then it will lead to a red symbol that will be created, and that will let you know that that thing is over defined. So for example, you can see that this equal length relation is getting conflicted with something or the other. You can see that, and this has been done because of our over defining of sketch. So now if I try to just roll back, you will see that as soon as I brought my 100 back, this equal relation got okay. And as soon as I go back and delete this 100, you will see that this equal relation is getting conflicting. So these things will be able to, you will be able to understand as soon as like you will be able to do practice, you will be hands on. Okay. So these things are something that can be done. And these things are like something I can try to explain it to you one or two examples, but that will not solve the bigger purpose. The bigger purpose will be solved when you will be making a sketch, you will be making a model, and every person tries to make the model in their own manner. For example, I can like show you, like for example, I want to create a cylinder. So a person can create a cylinder by this method also. A person can create a cylinder by just like uh, directly inserting the cylinder, that is by using this method. Okay, by defining the diameter and height, and the cylinder will be displayed over here. Okay, the another person can also try to make a cylinder with the help of like okay, let me show you that also. Like for example, I have, okay, I have the rectangle. I do not want, need to make it again. I'll just click on revolve. I will click this curve, refresh, connected curves. Okay, specify vector. Things which I do not want to happen whenever I do not want them to. Specify vector. Thank you, sir. Specify point. So see, the cylinder can also be created with this option. So every person has their own perception of designing, of how they look at the design. And as soon as the more you will practice, and as soon as you will get the concepts clear by watching the whole series, you will be able to do a lot of stuff, and you will be able to understand what are the things that are required, what are the relations that are required, and what are the unrequired or unnecessary relations. So with this, we conclude our part 18 of our learning Siemens NX from beginner to pro. And in part 19, we will be starting the 3D. We'll be going 3D, and we'll be starting how to do modeling of, uh, we'll be learning basic rules to create 3D part, etc. And after that, we'll be like doing part 20, sketch based, Boolean operation, etc. After that, we'll be coming to assembly. So hold your horses, and part 18 is covered. So by now you have covered two important sections of learning Siemens NX. The first is the user interface, all the things that are necessary for operating Siemens NX, of using Siemens NX, of having the graphics in your hands, how to hide things, how to delete things, how to customize things, how to get different types of views, how to have section views, hide, creating datum sketch, coordinate system, axis, plane, etc. How to create sketches, that is section 2. And in the sketches, what are the different things that are available, like basic curves, advanced curves. There are constraints, two types of constraints. So these two sections have been completed by now, the sketch part and the user interface part. Now we'll be starting the modeling part in our next video, and part 19 will be started very soon. So okay, if you like our series, do hit the subscribe button and share our videos with your friends. Until the next time we meet, goodbye.